Hey everyone, welcome to another painting tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to paint Imotekh the Stormlord, one of the new awesome HQ models for the Necron army. I began by carefully removing all of the pieces from their sprues. I made sure to take extra precautions since this is fine cast and is very soft and fragile. As you can see here, the staff had quite the bend in it, so I had to actually bend the fine cast after cleaning it up a little bit using a technique of mine. Using a sharp hobby knife, I carefully removed all the mold lines and excess flash from all of these resin pieces. This is a very important step when working with models, especially with the fine cast, because removing these mold lines and extra flash is a great way to add a little bit extra to your model, as these parts will definitely be shown when you start painting them up, and mold lines become very evident on these very thin models. After all the pieces were nice and cleaned up, I glued the head onto the body, but kept the arm with the staff and the cape separate, just to keep things easier to paint. I primed all of the pieces using Vallejo Air Gray Primer. If you don't have Vallejo Air Gray, I'd recommend using GW's Chaos Black Primer. It will work just as well and also have some great contrast. I started on all the metal areas using the new base paint, Leadbelcher. Leadbelcher does a great job of putting down a foundation color for all your silver metallics and goes on really well with just a single coat. After the base coat, I gave all these metal areas a black-brown wash consisting of a 1-to-1 mix of Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade. This wash will bring out a lot of the details in the metal areas, as well as giving it an older, dirtier appearance. As Imotekh is a pretty old lord, he should have an old, dirtier appearance. When the wash had dried, I gave all these metallic areas 2 consecutive dry brushes, or highlights. First one with Ironbreaker, and the second one with the new dry type of paint called Necron Compound. These dry brushes are a quick and very easy way to bring out all the edge details and bring a lot of the definition in the metallic areas on the model. Next, I started the staff head by base coating it with the new base color Caliban green. I then painted gradients on the staff of Warboss green through Moot green and finally through Flash Gitz yellow. I find that these 3 colors actually work really well together and produce a really cool gradient on the staff, which you can do either from the sides and from top to bottom, as you can see that I've done. And here's what the staff looked like when it was finished with these gradients. So to create a little bit more contrast and make it all a little bit more green, I gave this entire staff head a glaze with the new glaze paint, Waywatcher green. I then started on the wiring, the orbs, and his eyes using the same combination, first beginning with Warboss green. Second, I highlighted all of these areas with Moot green, typically covering the middle of each area and leaving the darker green at the ends. And here you can see that I paint very thin lines under his eyes to create a minor glowing effect using the Moot green. And finally, I highlighted all of these areas with Flash Gitz yellow, once again only focusing a little bit in the middle of each part and leaving the darker greens towards the ends. Then to tie all these greens together, I once again gave them a green glaze using the Waywatcher green. I wanted to see if it would produce a cool glowing effect, which it actually did, and create a little bit more contrast in these areas, making them look really nice. I then began on all the gold areas with the base color Balthasar Gold. I really like the new, the base colored metallics, especially Balthasar Gold, because as you can see it goes on really nicely with a single coat and gives you very good coverage. And I also painted the handle on the staff, as well as all the symbols on the head of the staff, Balthasar Gold as well. I then gave all these areas a wash, the same wash as I did before, a black-brown wash consisting of a 1-to-1 mix of Nuln Oil to Agrax Earthshade. This shade will give all these areas a little more detail and make them look more worn and old, which this model is. As you can see that this shading gives a lot of, as you said, shading and brings out a lot of the detail in all of these areas, especially the handle of the staff and the symbols on the shoulders. When the wash was dry, I gave all the gold areas a first highlight using the layer paint Gehenna's Gold. I pretty much just focused on the edges, just bring a lot of the edge details in all these gold areas, and to keep the washed and shaded areas in the recesses. I then gave all the gold areas a second highlight with the lighter gold color Auric Armour Gold. And once again, I just focused on the very outer edges just to give it a little bit more lighting and a little more detail in them. And I think it turned out really well, the combination of these three colors. Finally, I painted his body, just the upper skeleton part, using the new base color Abaddon black. When the black paint was dried, I gave it an edge highlighting using the new gray, Administratum Grey, just along the edges to bring out the black parts. And then I painted the lightning pattern on the staff using Lothern blue, which is the new light blue color. I painted a little bit thick, because then I used black to clean up the lines and thin them a bit and create the nice lightning pattern, which, as you can see here, turned out pretty nicely. Finally, I base coated the cape Abaddon black as well. Then I gave it a very light dry brush first of Warboss green, just to pick up really more on the edges of the green of the cape, and then I gave it another dry brush over the more exposed areas using Moot green. And then finally, to tie all these colors together and bring them down a little bit, I gave them a green wash of Biel tan green shade. And that's it. You now know how I painted up my Imotekh the Stormlord model, and here's what the finished product looked like from the front. Overall, I have to say that I was actually pretty happy with the way that it turned out. I think it turned out pretty nicely, given the amount of time it took me to paint it. And it's a pretty cool model. As you can probably tell, some of the fingers broke off, but I already explained that in my miniature showcase. And he'll definitely be, I think, a pretty cool model on the tabletop, with some really cool rules, and I think that this model is going to be used by a lot of Necron armies, so I hope this tutorial is of some use to all you people out there, and that you really like it. And I'm going to definitely keep making some more Necron HQ tutorials, because a bunch of new models are just about to come out. Overall, I think the glowing effect actually really turned out nicely, and the staff turned out really nice as well, so yeah, as I said, I'm pretty happy. And that's it. So as always, thank you to all you awesome people out there for watching and subscribing to my videos. You are the inspiration behind my work. Please like the video, add some comments at the bottom, and subscribe to my channel if you already haven't done so. And this has been another tutorial by Jay. And thank all you once again. And until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting, everyone.